Is Omar cheating and lying about it? Let's take a look. WholeMarsBlog, one of the most prominent early access FSD beta testers. Hundreds of FSD beta test videos, hundreds of thousands of followers on YouTube and Twitter, frequent interactions with Elon on topics of FSD beta or a Tesla. He's been featured a couple times by Tesla employees during their conference talks. A true ambassador for FSD. There's always been a murmur of accusations about his videos, but lately the accusations have gotten a little louder, and they're coming from more prominent FSD beta testers. And Omar's getting a little defensive about it. So I decided to take another look. Watching recent touchless videos, they look pretty good, and they're very long. And I don't see steering wheel touches, no apparent knee touches, or very few. And he goes very long stretches without any touches whatsoever or any nags. This is not the stock experience. We get nags about every 1 to 2 minutes, depending on your speed. This is not that. Okay, so maybe he's being a little dirty with his nags. Does it really matter? Does it change the actual driving of the car? Well, that's not so black and white. Personally, I have no objections to what you want to do with your car as long as you use it responsibly. It's a different story when you misrepresent the experience to tens or hundreds of thousands of people and tell them that that's the stock experience. It's not okay to lie about it and then call people who question your lie conspiracy theorists. And if he lies about this, can I trust anything he says in his videos? So if he's not touching it, how's he doing it? The car components, when they want to talk to each other, they speak CAN. And there are multiple networks or buses that they can speak to. So when you make an adjustment to your steering wheel, or use the volume up, volume down, speed up, speed down, there is a CAN event generated and sent to the computer. If you have a third-party device, it can also generate those events. And it will be just like you had, say, touched your scroll wheel. If you want to get into speaking on your CANbus, there are two main options on the market. There are sexy buttons or the Comma Panda. The sexy buttons. These are like the iPhone of the CANbus mods. You just plug it in and it works. There's over 100 actions that you can program into either the buttons or you can access them from the smartphone app. There are also smart actions that passively work. You can turn these on or off by configuring through the app. One of these that took special note of was one called Autopilot Hands-On. What this feature does is it does a speed up and a speed down. This action will confirm most of your nags. If you're interested in sexy buttons, look at my link below. That'll be 15% off until July 9th, so grab them quick. For those okay with getting your hands a little dirty, I'm talking to the Linux and Android folks now. There is a universal CANbus device called the Comma Panda. This was released as part of the OpenPilot project, and that's how they interface with all the different cars. You can use this in your Tesla too. Using a Panda, a computer, or a Raspberry Pi type device, and a little bit of Python code, you should be able to simulate your own events into the CANbus. I'll be diving in to see what else is possible with the Panda, so do follow and subscribe if you want to keep up. One other possibility people have been bringing up lately is Elon Mode. This is a mode that Green the Only has shown that is available deep inside FSD Beta that will disable the nags and then possibly has some impact on the confidence and error margins, so that would impact the experience further. So let's take a look at the footage. I dove back in, looking for those micro speed adjustments that we saw with the sexy buttons, that autopilot hands-on function, to see if he was indeed maybe hiding a sexy button. While even if the speed change was very quick and we couldn't really see it on the UI, there is the small caret next to the speed indicator that would show for a good half second afterwards if those adjustments were being made. I didn't find any of those, so it doesn't look like he's using sexy buttons. But while I was looking for that, I did see a number of times where his speed max would just change in a way I didn't expect it to. Some of that could be that limiting speed for road type, but it typically displays that message, and this message wasn't apparent. That happened quite frequently in areas that I wouldn't see it, but maybe that's something about his area in San Francisco that you see it more. It did happen while his car was sitting still. That's not normal. And on a couple of occasions where it sets the speed max, it would grow to the larger size, the little micro animation, which happens when you manually adjust the speed, but no one was adjusting the speed. It stayed at 40 miles an hour. What's that about? Looking back through his videos, Omar hasn't actually had any nags or touches since October. What changed? On October 7th, Omar asked for some help with his Comma Panda. 7 days later, Omar took his last drive with nags. Let's take a look at that drive. This looks like my average FSD drive. The nags are about every 1 minute. In fact, it's a 30-minute drive. There were 38 nags. Let's compare this to the very next day, October 15th. Not a nag to be found. Let's look at them side by side. How do they compare? It's pretty plain to see something changed. Let's look at a more direct comparison on October 13th and October 17th, bookending our October 15th date. Omar posted a video of Chestnut Street to the Apple Store on both days. You can see the difference. All the nags disappeared on October 15th, except one. On Nav on Autopilot, when you have a lane change and you have confirmations turned off, there is a forced nag. It's not based off the time interval. That nag still happens on Omar's drives. This confused me for a minute, because if he's using a CANbus input, wouldn't that confirm the nag? It may pop up for a moment, but it wouldn't require him to put his hands on. But he does every time. Why? And then I tested it. A single CANbus input does not confirm that nag. It's different. You might call it a tell. Elon Mode doesn't explain that. CANbus inputs do. Are we all just stupid and don't know how to use the software? Or is there more to it and the panda's out of the bag? Please let me know what you think below. Let others know what you think. Spread the word. I'll be diving into my panda to see if we can find that elusive Omar mode. Follow or subscribe to join the hunt. And if you want to play with some sexy buttons, use that link. That's 15% until July 9th. See y'all.